This is Duke University.
Okay, good morning. Morning. All right, how was Tuesday night? Or should I be asking the people who aren't here yet, right? So thanks to you all who've come. My name's Tony O'Driscoll, and I'm really excited because this is the Center for Technology, Entertainment, and Media's first event. And we have over 290 people registered. So there's a lot of enthusiasm about what we're trying to do here. And I'm going to give you a little bit of context. Because we started late, I'm going to just move through a couple of setup charts that I wasn't going to talk about, but this is the most important one. We have liftoff. Hello, world. If any of you have... That's good. That'll sound good on the video. The vertical strategy here at Fuqua is about relevantization. I don't know if that's a word yet, but it might become a word. And what it is, or what we're striving to do, is really build that bridge between the issue base and industry, all the challenges and opportunities that are going on in highly vibrant and volatile industries like entertainment and media, undergirded by changes in technology, right? That all of you who are studying business should be really fired up about. And hopefully at the end of the day, I'm going to talk about what my goal is for the end of the day. You will be fired up about it because of the lineup of speakers that we have. So the role of the center, think about the center as a gearbox. It's the gearbox between students and alumni and corporations and faculty that sets an experiential context, that sets a real context for the decisions that all of the very generous folks who've decided to come and share their insights with you today are dealing with on a daily basis in a very, very fast-moving set of verticals, okay? So that's it. This is about you. This is all about the students, about you understanding what the industry is about, why it's exciting to work here, and the role of the centers is to facilitate interactions like this to make that happen, okay? So that's essentially what this is. We've had a lot of task forces with alumni who've come and said to us, you shouldn't put technology in there, entertainment and media, it's not just driven by technology. We've had the folks on the technology side, well, what are you talking about? Technology is changing everything, not just entertainment and media. So we've settled on, it is the intersection of technology, entertainment, and media. In this graphic, technology is kind of a pulling force, so to speak, but the C is what we're really interested in. At the intersection of technology undergirding these industries, how are leaders like all the ones I'm looking at and smiling today making decisions absent full information? Roger Martin, who's going to be down here next week, who's the Dean of Rotman, talks about design thinking. And there's inductive logic and there's deductive logic. And we all know all about that. But there's another one called abductive logic. And abductive logic is taking a leap of faith absent of all extant data. There's a lot of that goes on in here, but as well, there's a lot of data crunching that can help inform it. But there's a foot on the gas and a foot on the brake in terms of how predictive you can get versus how you just got to take a shot and see what happens and have a tolerance for ambiguity. That's something we're going to want to get across today. In terms of our mission, we've got a three-pronged mission. For students, we want to make these industries come alive for you. We want to bring live cases into the classroom so that you can actually be dealing with some of the issues that the folks in industry are facing today. The idea of bringing live cases in. What would you do? What's your point of view? From a research perspective, what we want to do is bring the strength that we have at Fuqua to shine a bright light on some of the issues that these industries are facing, because we believe from a research perspective that by understanding how leadership and management is being exercised in this very vibrant arena, we can learn more about management theory and practice, because this is the cauldron within which so much new innovation is happening in terms of how you allocate resource and capability around endeavor. So by studying it and looking at it, we can increase our knowledge base, which is what we do from a research perspective. From an outreach perspective, that's why we're here. The outreach piece is about reaching out into industry, asking them to come here to Fuqua, or on the flip side, having folks go out and meet with companies to see how it actually works on the ground. Make sense? Okay, so when we launched this, we've been going for about a year, and then we had our soft launch at the Coach K conference. How many of you were at the Coach K conference? So we had a conversation about disruptive innovation. We had a conversation about the music industry and how the music industry kind of suffered its own set of disruptors. And we'll see later on today that the music industry is still doing well. It's just that the kind of who gets more money along the value chain has kind of changed. So that was our soft launch. That was about 110 days ago. I wasn't counting, but I was last night because I couldn't sleep. So I figured, you know, October 29th, it's roughly 110 days. So this is the chart for Blair, because this is being taped, and seeing as I'm executive director, how have we been doing? Well, if you look on the student side, Mina, nothing happens here without Mina. Where's Mina? There she is. Everybody knows that. Students know, they nod. Every one of the speakers who are here know it's all about Mina. I'm just the sock puppet for Mina. But essentially, Mina took a group out to the West Coast in January, and they met with VMware, Google, LinkedIn, Cisco, IBM, eBay, Juniper, Salesforce, and Apple. That's not a bad group. Any of you go with Mina? Yeah? So you get out there. You actually get to meet with folks in industry talking about the issues that they're facing, right? Were they done? No. Then they went to New York, and they met with Showtime and NBC Universal and the NBA and more visits. Hendricks and Struggles, 3 hours from somebody who's at Hendricks and Struggles talking about managing your career. Joe Bailey. This is really, really valuable stuff that adds color to the fantastic education that the students receive here. But it gives that context that I think will be a further edge. So I think we're doing pretty well. On the research side, and Jonathan Cummings here in the corner is our faculty director. Jonathan and I have started a couple of research projects where we're really looking at new ways of organizing, and we've been focusing initially in kind of open source software development. What do people value about being part of that open source community if they already work at a Microsoft or an IBM? How do they actually get their work done? What are the work practices? And what tools are they using to get that stuff done? And how does it all come together? Because we think that there's new organizational forms emerging. Just look at Egypt and Tunisia as examples, where social media or social productivity can really drive new forms of organization and orchestrating capability around endeavor. And we want to understand more about that. So that's where the research relationship comes in. From an outreach perspective, that's today. Today is our first discussion, bringing together industry and students and researchers to kind of understand what are the issue sets and what should we be looking at. So by my math, by the end of today, we'll have exposed over 300 students to over 40 companies in 100 days. That's not too bad. That's a good start. But it's just the beginning. So I thank you for being here. There'll be more and more people coming in over the day. We've got a jam-packed day. So let me just talk a little briefly about the agenda. I want all of you Twitter people, the hashtag is Immersion Day. So there's also, this is being Ustreamed, so there's folks who are going to be on the Ustream, but if you want to do it, the hashtag is Immersion Day. We've essentially got kind of 6 sessions. First, we've got Jonathan Reichenthal, and Jonathan's going to give us a broad perspective on technology. We're also looking at mixing up the way that we deliver here. So Jonathan's going to deliver the majority of what he's going to do is in an Ignite presentation. I don't know if any of you have been to an Ignite presentation, but you'll see what that's all about here in a couple minutes. Then we've got a trio, Polly Sumner, Bobby, and John Sabino are going to be talking about the virtualized enterprise. So as things move to the cloud, how many of you have not heard about cloud? Because if you haven't, you're going to be hearing a lot about cloud today. But you're going to be hearing more specifically, what does it mean for a business when you have this option? What does it mean for where you allocate resource and investment, but also what does it mean to what happens to the enterprise itself by adopting this technology? Okay? After that, then we're going to get into some great detail with our colleagues at McKinsey and PwC and IBM about how does this industry tick? How does it work? What's the value chain? How do you make money? All that type of stuff. So the morning is all about setting the table so that we are kind of on a level set for what is this set of verticals we're looking at, entertainment, media, and technology. The afternoon then gets into movies, cable TV, broadcast TV, and games. So then we're going to take it down to, and here's what it's like on the ground. So that's the agenda. Now, how will I know that we've been successful in this endeavor, in kind of creating an outreach session like this? And it goes back to a quote. My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives. In other words, if you don't leave here more confused than when you came, I won't have succeeded. Right? The idea here is that you actually leave with a more nuanced perspective of how wonderful but annoying this particular arena can be, and hopefully knowing that if you don't have a high tolerance for ambiguity, this may not be the place to be, because that's what this industry is all about. Deal? Is this how it was advertised in the brochure? Was our marketing okay?
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.